What's going on, Legends? Today I have a Vex Specter build for you, focusing on elemental DoT damage. Alright, so we're using Dead Ringer, and we're focusing more on the Specters than the Reapers. For that, we are spec'd into Cold Iron for gun damage, Portents of Suffering for status effect damage, Grave Friends for more damage, kill skills whenever our minions die. We aren't spec'd super heavily into survivability for our minions, we're more into damage. So our minions will die, but that triggers all of our kill skills for us. We have 5 out of 5 in Prismatic Ichor, and we have 4 out of 5 in Keen Suffering for status effect damage against a chance to crit. So between these, we're going to be applying tons of dots. They're going to be scaling up. You'll see more later of why. We also have Prismatic Weaponry to deal more damage with crit hits. We have Obedient Fiends to get more minion damage. And we also have Diner to get an additional charge. We're just trying to get as many on the battlefield to do as much damage as possible before they die. This is a really nice perk to pick up. We're using Dark Pact as our capstone. That's going to allow us to use Coven and Wither as our 2 augments. Coven is going to give all of our minions and us crit hit chance, which is really nice. It's going to play along with Prismatic Weaponry. And then Wither will apply a status effect whenever our Specters are summoned. And that Wither effect is going to allow us to deal 30% extra damage to the enemy it's on. And whenever that enemy dies, our Specters are going to cast Wither again. So that damage is going to be amplified by our build. And then we're going to be doing more damage. 30% flat is great. We also have some points over in Green Tree. We're picking up Vex gains increased critical hit damage and gun handling, mostly just to get us down to Bloodletter. Now this is another status effect since we're all in on DoT damage. This is by far one of the best, maybe in the game, certainly on Vex. So we're going to have a chance to apply Bleed, and this is going to just steamroll all of these effects into one-shotting bosses. We also picked up Grave Power for more max stacks of our kill skills, since we do have quite a few of those. For our gear, we really can use any weapon on this build, primarily focused on elemental types, but kinetic weapons with the bleed are going to do just fine as well. Some stuff like the Hot Slugger is great. The Complex Root is one of my favorites on this build. The Rainbow Vomit is surprisingly effective. Not only does it have a good amount of damage that it deals applying a bleed, but then you get 3 different types of damage effects, this one being corrosive, cryo, and radiation. But any of them will also trigger additional effects, and this gun actually is pretty fun to use. Stuff like the Asher's Rise I found really nice against bosses too. Just critting them and applying tons of dots that scale upwards really fast is great. Other weapons that work really well on this build are the Kickballer, or any Malawan shotgun or sniper rifle that you like using. They're going to do tons of damage. Additionally, if you have a spread launcher or a beam tosser, these are going to work fantastic for bossing, since they're just going to absolutely nuke bosses. You can also use the 7th Sense. This works really well as well. If I don't feel like using the Hot Slugger, I'll swap it out for the 7th Sense. Of course, all of this is enabled for bossing by the Penetrator augment on our throwing knives. It just makes bossing that much easier. I've tried it without. It is completely doable without the guaranteed crits, but it does obviously take a little bit longer. We also have Leech and Amp on our Repkit. I also have been using Elemental Affinity and Overshield, as well as Leech and Overshield. We have a Super Soldier, which is going to give us movement speed, fire rate, and regen ammo when our energy shield is full. Having Overshield protects that. We're using Teen Witch. While we have maximum health, our life still partially applies to shields, while we have maximum shield, our lifesteal partially grants over shield. So this is just our survivability on the battlefield. I tried using the avatar. It just wasn't enough extra damage to warrant losing all of the survivability. I also have Jacob's Enhancement. This one's Leaper. Piercer would probably be better, but this has gun damage and gun crit damage on it. You just want damage rolls on your enhancement with whatever weapon type you're using. You can use a Malawan like this one if you really want to lean in on the Malawan snipers or any of the Malawan weapons. Guns with Malawan licensed parts have 25% status effect damage. This one also gives 10% bonus damage from the inactive element. This is really good to use. I tend to use the Hot Slugger more as I'm mobbing, so I keep the Jacob's Enhancement on just for that. But I usually swap depending on what mood I'm in. But either works great. For specializations, we're using Riddle You This for stacks of gun damage. One shot, one kill. Primarily because I use the Hot Slugger. Just it one-shots most mobs, so this goes really nicely with that. Contamination. Crit hits grant increased status effect application chance. Always a fantastic addition. And Compounding Afflictions, enemies take increased damage for each status effect applied to them. We are going to be applying tons of status effects to each enemy, so this is going to do extra free damage for us. I would say the only other thing that could be added would be the Best Defense, getting increased damage when you have a full shield or health, depending on which is more. And I'd probably replace one shot, one kill with that. I'm just not there in points yet, but that's probably the next thing I'm going to chase. And just to show y'all what this looks like, you spit out some Specters. I'll tag these enemies so that they know they're hostiles. And you can see them going to town. If you throw a dagger at one, it's just going to go absolutely bonkers. This will shred absolutely anything in the game. And that's going to do it for the Clone Zone Vex Specter build. I hope you all enjoy it. It'd mean a lot if you can give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if I earned it. I'm streaming Borderlands 4 live every day on Twitch and YouTube, so drop by and let me know what you think. Hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you next time, legends.